study the bones separately, yes? Ulnar, radius, skeletal bones, bones of skull also studied separately, but you know the bones, skeletal bones or bones of skull in body, they are not located separately, they are connected with together. How the bones are connected with together? Generally, 3 types of bone connections known. 3 types. First, synarthrosis. That means immovable connection, immovable joint, how you know. Second, amphiarthrosis, half joints or slightly movable joints. And third is diarthrosis, freely movable joints or synovial joints. Now what's the difference between these 2 connections, these 3 connections? Synarthrosis means immovable joint. What means immovable joint? How you can tell me? Which joints are immovable?
Of skull.
Yes. Or bones of skull are connected by
Pelvic.
synarthrosis. But all bones of skull,
No, not mandibular. No, mandibular is no.
except temporomandibular and skull connects with
vertebra.
atlanto-occipital joint. Yes, this is also connection of skull. Okay, except skull. What you said?
Pelvic.
Which pelvis? Pelvis totally. Sacroiliac.
No. 3 bones. No. Ili,
Yes,
ilium,
all
ischium.
bones of hip.
Yes.
Ilium, ischium, pubis.
Pubis.
Yes, this also is sacrum is also example of immovable joint. Slightly movable joint or amphiarthrosis. Example in the body is only one. This is pubic symphysis by the tortora. Slightly movable joints includes symphysis, pubic symphysis, and syndesmosis also. But remember classification of joints, how I'm explaining you, because in your examination test there is other classification. Type of amphiarthrosis or slightly movable joint is pubic symphysis. How is formed pubic symphysis? By symphysial surfaces of 2 hip bones. How they are connected with together? By the cartilage, which is located between symphysial surfaces of the pubic bones, and why this joint is half joint or amphiarthrosis. This connection is immovable in male. It is movable in female. When? What do you think?
Childbirth.
Yes, during the childbirth. Now, later about the diarthrosis, again about the immovable joints or synarthrosis. Synarthrosis means when the bones are connected with together so that between them is not possible movement. Yes? But how the bones attach with together, connect with together. 3 different types of synarthrosis known. First, fibrous connections, fibrous articulations, or that means when between 2 bones, connecting bones, located fibrous tissue. They are not, they don't attach with together directly, don't bone structures attach. Between 2 bones, located fibrous tissue. But fibrous connection subdivides into different types. The subcategories of fibrous connections are sutures, ligaments, membranes, gomphosis. Second type of synarthrosis. First was fibrous connection. Second is cartilagian connection or synchondrosis, when between bones located cartilage. Okay, again about the fibrous connections. First type category of the fibrous connection is sutures. Yes? Type sutures. Sutures by this type of bone connections are connected bones of the skull. Yes, you know, bones connected by the sutures. But sutures divides into three types: serrate, plain, and squamous. What's the difference between these three types? This is which bone? Occipital bone. Look at the border of occipital bone. It is not smooth. Yes? Serrate sutures are sutures when the borders of bones has shaped like zip-shaped borders connects with together. By the serrate sutures are connected with together. Look at the skull cap. Parietal bones. Yes? Parietal with frontal. Behind parietal with occipital. Understood or not? You know the borders of these bones. Yes? This is the border of frontal bone, not smooth. And two bones connect like zip. That serrate sutures, some of serrate sutures have special names. I think when you read your book, there was coronary suture, lambdoid suture, sagittal suture. All of them are types of serrate sutures. But these are special names of connection between, if you take parietal bones, between the suture, serrate suture, between parietal bones, has special name, sagittal suture. Serrate suture, by which two parietal bones are connected with the frontal bone, has special name, coronary suture. Understood or not? Serrate suture, by which parietal bones posteriorly are connected with occipital bones, called lambdoid suture. Understood or not? Or special terms, sagittal, coronary, lambdoid, but they are types of examples of serrate sutures. Next, plain sutures. Take the skull and look at the borders between bones of the facial skull. The connections, the borders, shaped like lines. Why? Because by the plain surfaces they attach together. Yes? There is not the shape of connection suture is not like this, zip shape. By plain surfaces attached. By the plain sutures connects with together bones of the facial skull. All bones of facial skull. Nasal bones with together, nasal with frontal process of maxilla, with lacrimal bone, zygomatic bone, with maxilla. All of them are connected by plain suture. Third type of suture, squamous suture. Only one example. This is connection between squamous part of the temporal bone and parietal bone. The squamous part, what means squamous suture? Squamous part of the temporal, this is a parietal bone, yes? Border, which border? Squamous border of the parietal bone. Squamous part of the temporal bone closes or located on the squamous border of the parietal lobe. They are not called biborders. Understood or not? Closest little portion of the squamous border of the parietal lobe. Finishes connections by the sutures. Next type of fibrous connection by the ligaments. Yes, ligaments are fibrous tissue. Is fibrous tissue. Ligament has shape like a round band. That fibrous tissue or that ligaments have all types of bone connections or presence in all types of articulations or joints. But there are three main types of ligaments, categories, subcategories of ligaments: intracapsular, capsular, and extracapsular. Later about this, that means intracapsular, capsular, extracapsular. Remember, so that ligament is structurally fibrous tissue which has shape like band, which attached with bones, protects the connections, protects the joints. Next is what? Membranous connections. Membranes also fibrous tissue, but differs from ligaments by the shape. If ligament is round, long band, membrane is flat, broad structure, like paper, which is located between two bones. But membranes can be two types of membranes known: permanent and temporary. Permanent and temporary. What means permanent membrane? What do you think? What means? Which membranes can be permanent? Between bones, located membranes, which child at the birth had child, and that membrane present during the life. Understood or not? Temporary means temporary membranes have children at the birth, but later, during the growth, that membrane transforms into the cartilaginous tissue or ossifies or transforms into the bone tissue. Examples of permanent membranes. How you remember radius and ulna? These two bones the diaphysis of radius and ulna has interosseal borders. Do you remember? And between that interosseal borders is space. But in the body, we have not that space between borders. Or between radius and ulna, interosseal borders of radius and ulna are connected with together by the interosseal membrane. This is understood. Between which bones can be other example? Tibia, fibula. This is tibia, this is fibula. This is interosseal membrane. Which category of membrane? Which permanent membrane? Temporary membrane. Examples. Spontaneous. Do you know what means spontaneous? The child, the head, the skull of child has spontaneous. Look, this is the superior view of the skull. Yes, this frontal bone, parietal bone, occipital bone. What is this round shape like round structure between frontal and parietal bone? This is membrane, the special name of membranes, which have children, skull of the children, or skull cap of the children at the birth, called fontanelles. That fontanelles presence between frontal and parietal bones parietal and occipital bones posteriorly, and laterally, how you remember parietal bone connects with which bones by anterolateral and posterolateral angles. Anterolateral connects with sphenoid bone, posterolateral with mastoid bone. Yes? But at that points connections located small membranes which called fontaines, or totally the child had how many fontaines? 4. No. Anterior, posterior, and two pairs of lateral fontaines or membranes. That fontaine, the largest, is anterior fontaine, this connection between frontal and parietal bones. Why the skull of the child has fontaines? What do you think? Why they are not connecting the bones of skull by the sutures directly at the birth?
Mastoid processes.
Don't connect by strong type of connection. Because the brain, the cells, neurons, after the birth continues to grows the brain, increases in sizes. Understood or not? And because needed space, bones grows also together with brain. The anterior fontaine closes when? About 2 years of age, or less than 2 years of age, normally. Posterior fontaine, it is small, and because it closes little early, at 6 months. Lateral fontanelles, smallest fontanelles, but sometimes they closes later than posterior or anterior fontanelles. Understood? Or fontanelles are examples of what type of connections? Membranous. Membranous is the type of which connection? Fibrous connection. Fibrous is a type of which connection? Synarthrosis or immovable connection. Yes? And next, gomphosis. Gomphosis, example of gomphosis. Connection between root of tooth and alveoli of the upper and lower jaw, alveoli of maxilla and mandible, or connection between teeth and alveolus of the maxilla and mandible. Totally finishes fibrous connection. Yes? Second type of synarthrosis is cartilagian connection or synchondrosis. That means between two bones located cartilage. Synchondrosis or cartilagian connections divide into 2 types, permanent, temporary. Temporary synchondrosis example, Shota. You said that example. Hip, bones of hip, ilium, pubis, ischium. At the birth, the hip of child is not one bone. The hip of child is formed by 3 bones. So the visible borders between that 3 bones, because between borders of ilium, pubis and ischium located very narrow band of cartilagian tissue. Later during the growth, that cartilage transforms or ossifies, transforms into the bone tissue, and the hip of adult has this shape. There is no visible borders of the ilium, pubis and ischium. Same sacral bone. Yes? At the birth between sacral vertebrae located cartilaginous discs. Later, they transform into the bone tissue. Or metaphyseal plates of all tubular bones. I think you know the tubular bones have diaphysis, epiphysis. But between diaphysis and epiphysis, the portion of the tubular bone called metaphysis. That border between epiphysis and diaphysis, where is located metaphyseal plate, which is cartilaginous structure and which is important for growth of tubular bone in length. Understood or not? Finishes the growth of in length, intensive growth in length. That cartilage transforms into the bone tissue in different ages. Understood?
Yes.
Temporary example of permanent cartilaginous connection is by Dordora. It is not correct by other authors. This is example of permanent cartilaginous intervertebral discs, which are located between vertebral bodies. By the Dordora, this is example of symphysis or amphiarthrosis. Understood or not? How both? Remember both, but for example, you need that this is example of symphyarthrosis. Next, if you take manubrium of sterni and body of sterni, sternal angle presence here. Yes, between manubrium and body located cartilage. This is also type of symphyarthrosis, but sometimes in old people, this cartilage ossifies, transforms into the bone tissue. But generally, they are connected by cartilaginous tissue. Understood? Next example of permanent. Bones in between body of sphenoid bone posteriorly connects with which bone? Occipital, basilar part of the occipital bone. Yes? Between the bodies, between the bones, located very, very narrow cartilaginous tissue. Normally, it presents during the life. Understood? Sometimes ossifies. Finish what? Synarthrosis, totally.
Excuse me. What about diffusion of the coccyx? Is that an example of temporary synchronis?
Temporary what?
Diffusion of the coccyx. The coccyx of the coccygeal vertebra. Is that an example of permanent or temporary?
Coccygeal vertebrae, I don't remember, but sometimes they don't fuse it with sacral bone. But with together they can fuse it. I don't remember coccygeal connection. Sorry. Diarthrosis or synovial joints or freely movable joints. Which connections called synovial joints? Not classification, or you must study the essential elements of the synovial joints and additional elements of the synovial joint. What means essential? There are many essential elements, but from that many elements, if you have not one element, you have not synovial joint. That joint is not synovial, understood? Or the essential elements of synovial joints are, firstly, two bones or less than two bones, correct? Forms one single joint, synovial joint. Possible connection?
No.
No. Two bones or more than two bones. What means more than two bones? You know shoulder joint, you know elbow joint. Yes? Shoulder joint is formed by how many bones? Huh? Three? Which three? Which three?
Ну, ключица, лопатка и кость. Вот ключица.
Scapula.
Next,
Yeah.
Yeah.
ключица.
Она
Why is it clavicle?
она присоединяется не к кому дальше. Окей, yeah.
Clavicle connects with what?
Лопатка, ой. But,
Located separately.
yes, with
Shoulder joint is formed by two bones, humerus and scapula. Elbow, how is formed elbow? How many bones? Joints with together. Three bones. Humerus, radius, ulna. Yes? All.
10.
Essential elements. First, two or more than two bones. What the bones have for connection? How called that part of bones? Head is type of what? How general
Articular
head for
surface.
trochlea,
Articular
for
surface.
conduct, articular surfaces. Second essential element, articular surfaces. I think you know that articular surfaces, this is trochlea of humerus, visible. Trochlear notch of ulna. Why they have blue color? Bones, yellow. Why they have blue color? Yes, articular surfaces must be covered by the cartilage. Without cartilage, bones are not connected with together. Or next essential element is articular cartilage, which covers articular surfaces. Next essential element is articular capsule. Look at this. What is visible here? Which joint? What do you think? Don't visible articular surfaces. But which bones connect? Humerus, radius, ulna. Why are not visible articular surfaces?
Because they're covered by.
They are covered by articular capsule. It is also important part, essential, next essential, this white structure which surrounds the articular surfaces, encloses the articular surfaces, called articular capsule. Articular surfaces are inside the capsule, but two articular surfaces, if you take for example head of femur and acetabulum, head of femur don't attach with acetabulum. Between head of femur and fossa is narrow space. Between head of femur and capsule is also narrow space. That spaces they don't touch or attach. Understood? That space called articular cavity, which is also important. That cavity is not free cavity. There is no air. Cavity has or presence in cavity synovial fluid, which is very important. Synovial fluid, articular cartilage, important for what? Prevents the friction between bones, articular surfaces of articulated bones during the movement. Understood? Synovial fluid releases articular capsule, inner surface, inner layer of the capsule. Additional elements of the synovial joints. Additional elements means there are many additional, different types of additional elements, but some joints have, other joints have not that additional element, but if the joint has essential element, that is synovial joint, or listen, different types of additional elements, I'm said, yes? Which types? Discs, meniscus, ligaments, sesamoid bones, bursas, labrums. Discs called cartilage, which have a shape like disc, round, flat structure.
Between vertebrae, for example.
Intervertebral discs example. For example, temporomandibular joint has articular disc. Shoulder joint has not articular disc. Elbow has not, but they are also synovial joints. Second type of additional element, meniscus. Meniscus structurally same with disc. They are cartilage also, but difference in shape. The shape of meniscus, moon shape, like moon, not round moon, half moon.
Новолуние.
Новолуние.
Twilight. Twilight.
Серп.
Серп.
Semi-lunar shape.
Да, полумесяц вот.
Meniscus has only one joint in the body, knee joint. Next additional element, articular labrum. What means leg? If you take shoulder joint, the shoulder joint is formed by two bones. It's by the head of humerus and glenoid fossa. Head of humerus is spheroid, convex surface. Glenoid fossa is not so concave. Yes, very little deep and concave, flat. The labrum is flat, thin coat, which surrounds the borders of glenoid fossa, and what it's doing? Deepens the glenoid fossa, and the head totally is surrounded by graphics. Understood or not? Shoulder joint has labrum, additional element. Hip joint also has labrum. Next additional element is intracapsular ligament.
Is it break time?
Okay.
Is it break time?
I have to use the bathroom.